Hey everybody! So I'm really excited to be here to be doing this little live stream. And normally I have somebody else with me when I do a live stream, but I thought this was appropriate for my big 3K today for Rachel's Reviews. I have been waiting for this for so long. I feel like I've been at the 20 people, 10 people kind of mark for forever and just waiting, and finally got it. Yay! So thank you so much to all of you who have subscribed. I really appreciate it. I hope that I am giving you content that you enjoy. I'm trying my best and having a lot of fun getting to do it. I love doing the podcast, particularly with my friends, with Ryan, and every week doing Hidden Gems with him, and then also with Stanford doing the obscure animation and the Talking Disney. We have so much fun doing those, and I just love them so much. And so it's very exciting. And I had some fun new projects that I started this month. I did the animated Oscars for 2000, which was a ton of work, but I really thought it turned out well, and I was very proud of it. And then I will be doing 1999. I've still got to just kind of work up the list and figure out what I need to watch. And then I'm also going to be doing sometime a new top 50 animated films countdown. I did one already on my channel, but it was way back in 2015. So I've seen so many movies since then. So it's time for an update. And I think that'll be really, really fun. And we have Female Film Critics panel coming out tomorrow for April. And I got Gray Drake from Rotten Tomatoes to come. And so that's going to be so fun. You're going to love that. And then my friend Caitlin Booth from here in Utah for Bleeding Cool is her site, and she's awesome. So the two of them, we have a really great conversation. And the video got kind of messed up, so it's just an audio podcast, but I really loved how it turned out. So I'm excited for y'all to see that. I've been so amazed to be able to have such incredible guests for that show. It's been good for me, for my soul, to get to talk to incredible critics like Christy Lemire and Mara Reinstein. That was incredible. But all of them have just been so much fun and so reaffirming to me to hear their stories and know that they've had similar experiences to me, and how they dealt with the pressure and how they dealt with the trolls and the other things like that, because I admit that's not my strength, and it's something I'm still learning to deal with and work through. But it's helped so much to have this support of all of these incredible female film critics, since I just love that series so much. And we're going to keep going and keep talking to people in it. And I think the greatest gift that I've gotten from these 3K, all these years that I've been doing this channel, is just the incredible friends that I've made. Obviously, people like Stanford and Ryan, and but lots of other people like me, Austin Burke, Sean Chandler. There are so many people that have become really close friends to me because of my work on this channel, and I'm so grateful for that. And people that you don't necessarily see as much anymore on my channel, but are still friends, like Trevor, How to Love Comics. We're still friends, and David Healy, who we're still kind of mad that stupid COVID ruined our show, because it was such a fun show. But we're still we're still good friends, and so I am just so grateful. And I see in the comments some nice, really, in the chat room, some really nice congratulations and thank yous and everything like that. And I really appreciate it. And I think that how can I not talk about Durbin, Chris doing the Sunday devotionals with me? Because when they canceled church, that was very devastating for me. And I just felt like I wanted to find a way to stay spiritually nourished, but then also give back to the community. And I figured there were other people that would also be struggling with a lack of church. And I think that's just been such an incredible experience doing those devotionals. We've done 33 of them so far, and to be able to do them with somebody who is not of my faith, and yet we're able to find so much common ground. I think it's been a very wonderful experience for me. There's so many people. It's hard to even. Kristen Maldonado has become a very good friend of mine. There's so many great people that I've had the honor to work with. And I mean, I can't believe that we're on episode 50 is coming out with next week for Talking Disney. And we're going to be talking about Dinosaur. We already recorded it. And we have Jonathan North, who's become a very good friend of mine as well. And he does the Doctor Who episodes with me. And that's been a great experience to get to dive into new franchises to me. Like I did the whole Star Trek series. Then that was a really great experience. And then also to do Doctor Who. And now I've covered 4 seasons of Doctor Who. So that's pretty crazy. And I've really enjoyed that experience. And yes, Durbin and Ryan are both awesome dudes. Agreed. Agreed. But yeah, we've done, in Talking Disney, we've done 50 episodes, which is just amazing. I can't believe it. That we have almost finished. We're in home stretch, which seems hard to believe. And we started in 2018. So with Cinderella was our first episode. And what's amazing to me is that Stanford, he always thanks me for letting him be a part of the podcast. I'm always like, I need to be thanking you. You are so incredible and such a good friend. So I'm very grateful. And let's see what else. Some other stuff, some other highlights of 3K. And there's so many. I mean, doing family movie night. I always kind of hope that this series would take off a little bit more than it has, but I've just enjoyed doing it so much. And I think that it's a really, fun series. And that I've been doing it since 2016, which is incredible. And I have, how many do I have at this point? Let's see, 284 reviews for Family Movie Night series. So that's always so much fun to get to do every week. And of course, I had Hallmarkies podcast that started from this podcast. And, that's been kind of my most successful venture, and I love it. And it's been an absolutely great experience. And I've gotten to interview so many people that it's unbelievable. Let's see, what am I at with my interviews? Not including the interviews I've done for Rotoscopers. I'm at 247 interviews that I've done just on YouTube /podcast. So that's an incredible blessing. And people always want to know what my favorite interview is. And it's just such a hard question to answer. I mean, some of my favorites have definitely been people that don't get the limelight very much, and so to give them the chance to be interviewed, I think makes them feel really good. And there have been some really great ones. I really loved interviewing Matthew James Dowden. He was really fun. He's had this incredible life where he was a lawyer, and then he was a magician, and now he's an actor, and just doing all this stuff. That was really a fun one. Donna Benedicto is one of my favorites, and she went all into describing the food craft services and the different food, and we were just laughing and laughing. I'm sure it's all very different now with COVID and stuff, but that one was very memorable. I thought it was so funny. And let's see here. Jack Turner just had a very memorable one that I was able to do with him, and we were cracking up and really enjoying it. Yeah, I mean, I interviewed Fran Drescher twice. That was incredible. I mean, those interviews are very different because when you interview a celebrity, you usually only have like 15 minutes or 20 minutes. So you really are just kind of clipping along, just asking your questions. And it's incredible, don't get me wrong. But I also kind of enjoy sort of the little bit more leisurely interviews with people that maybe aren't as famous, where you can kind of get to know their personality a little more and kind of dive deep into their motivations and what they do. And I think those are sometimes more fun than the big celebrity interviews, just because it's just a little bit more friendly. Not that the celebrity interviews aren't friendly, but you know what I mean. Let's see here. Let's see. Aaron says, I will definitely go back through all those family movie nights. I have 3 kids under 10, so I bet I will find some good movies for them through recommendations. Yay! That's my goal. And I know people, I hear parents complaining about how there's no morals in Hollywood and there's no good movies made. And so that was kind of my goal for Family Movie Night, is to every week provide a recommendation of something that you could watch with your family. And so there really wasn't that excuse anymore of Hollywood being so bankrupt and everything. But I have done teen month. So there's a few that are like more mature, that are more PG-13, but that for the most part, they're all pretty family friendly for your kids under 10 for the most part. And if it's not for a kid under 10, I usually will say in the review, but yeah, I hope that I can, that's one of my goals, is to help families out and parents. And so let's see, here we go. What does the future hold for Rachel's reviews? So yeah, I'm going to be doing a top 50 animated filmed countdown, which will be brutal to have to narrow down. I mean, like I said, I did it in 2015, but doing it now will be so hard, but I'm very excited about it. And then I will continue on talking Disney, continue on female film critics panel. I mean, my goal is that every week I have 3 episodes for Rachel's reviews. I have Family Movie Night on Monday for the most part, unless there's a special. And then Wednesday is a podcast. So that'll either be talking Disney or obscure animation or female film critic panel, something like that on Wednesday. And then Friday is Hidden Gems. And we've been doing these best and worst videos. And this is another one that I kind of wish that would take off. I feel like it's so marketable, and maybe I'm just not as successful in marketing as I need to be. I don't know, but I feel like it's such a good series, and so something that I feel like people should be very interested in. And I've been grateful for the comments that we have got and the views that we have got. But it's been a really fun series, and it's always great to talk with Ryan. I think he's so good at explaining his opinion, and I just think he's a very interesting person to talk to, and he doesn't tend to fall into hyperbole, which I really appreciate. He has nuanced and interesting opinions, and so that makes him interesting to talk to, in my opinion. So that's what's going to be going on, but I'm also going to keep trying to do this if there was an animated Oscar. But just those videos are so long to prepare for, because you have to watch so many different movies, and so that's challenging, especially with everything else being. Hopefully we'll be able to start doing more new movie reviews than we have been able to do. I mean, I'm really looking forward to also some series. I'm looking forward to the season 2 of Sweet Magnolias and season 2 of The Babysitters Club, which I loved on Netflix. That's definitely very excited. Let's see here. Only 2,000 more to review the Zack Snyder's Justice League. I actually did review it on my blog, but I haven't done it on the channel yet. I mean, I talked about it with Ryan in a live stream, but you're right. Only 2,000 more. That's why I said on Twitter that it was, if I got 5,000 subscribers, then I would review Zack Snyder's Justice League. Let's see here. Congrats on 3,000 subscribers. Tony Stark would be proud. Oh, thank you. Yes. I love you, 3,000. I love you all. Let's see. Here we go. Will that countdown include old school animation? I grew up on The Land Before Time and The Secret of NIMH. Absolutely. And even old school. I kind of resent the fact that you're saying Secret of NIMH is old school. Land Before Time, that's like 1989. But nothing that's in my lifetime can be considered old school. But no, it'll be including Fantasia. It'll be including, old school. So yeah, it's just animated films and my 50 favorite. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be very, very tough. So I'm excited about it. Let's see here. Congrats on 3,000. Rachel, miss our collaborations. I know, Reese. I hope you're doing well. Hope I think you're in college. So that's exciting. And good to see you're doing well. I agree. It's so good. That's an example of somebody that collaborated in the past, haven't done for a while, but still very good relationship, good friendship. And so there's just so many people that maybe you see every week on my channel that I have become, good friends with over the years. And I'm very blessed. And so many people over at Hallmarkies Podcast, the group of co-hosts that help me on a weekly basis. I just can't believe sometimes that people are willing to put so much work into something voluntary. And I just am blown away by all of them. Let's see here. Secret of NIMH still absolutely holds up. I adore The Secret of NIMH. It was on in 2015. The Secret of NIMH was in my top 10. So we'll see if it still is in the top 10. I don't know how many changes there really will be in my top 10. Obviously, your name will be added because that's post 2015. But how many other changes? I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see. So yeah. Thanks so much. I'm just so glad. Speaking of mainly movies, doing the Movie Nerds Club has been so much fun. That's been a great experience with Ren and Ryan and Larry. I mean, Larry's become one of my best friends, and I've collabed with him a bunch of times. We did the Francast together, which has been incredible. And that was something I'd always wanted to do, is to podcast about The Nanny. And I just kind of threw it out there to my friends, Colleen and Larry. You want to do this? We're in quarantine and everything. And they went for it. And now we've been doing it for a whole year. We're almost done, which is crazy. And it's been a great experience. And I love Larry. He's so great. If you aren't subscribed to him, subscribe to LC Screen Talk. He is the best. Let's see here. So what movies are you looking forward to for the rest of the year? It's interesting because I'm having to fight that feeling of like, ugh, and when are they just being kind of annoyed about all the pushbacks? And like when they put out another Black Widow trailer, I was just like, ugh. But I actually am excited to see it when I finally get to see it, because I love the MCU. And for the most part, I enjoy those films. And as a series, I really do love it. And I'm so excited for Loki. I know it's a series, but that trailer was so good. I absolutely loved it. And I love Loki. So that's definitely up there. What other movies? So my mind is blank. But yeah, let's see here. I am looking forward. It's hard because I just sort of stopped looking forward to movies because they always get delayed. I've seen some. Let's see. What are some big ones coming? Oh, In the Heights. I'm so excited for that. I loved the musical when I got to see it on, I wasn't on Broadway, but it was Broadway level quality. And I'm so excited because I love live theater. And I will be, by the time we get to the end of April, I will be post multiple weeks vaccinated. And so I got tickets for 6 shows at the end of April and into May to see. And I'm so excited about that, because I have missed live theater so much. Let's see, which ones did I get? I got Les Mis, which is my all-time favorite show. Then Daddy Longlegs, which is a really underrated show. It's so good. Only 2 people in the whole cast, which is perfect for this time. Music Man, which is another favorite of mine. Ain't Misbehavin', which is Cole Porter show. I'm looking forward to that. The Music of Andrew Lloyd Webber. It's like a concert. It's going to be great. And Emma, a musical version of Emma. So I'm excited about that. I don't know. I'm looking forward to The Eternals, Chloe Zhao, and the cast is incredible. And again, I like the MCU, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the new Batman, but I think that's 2022 now. Let's see here. I haven't seen Land Before Time since I was like 8 years old, but I remember really loving it. I need to rewatch it. It's long overdue. I'm not going to say that The Land Before Time doesn't hold up because it's a good movie, but it lays on the sentimentality really thick. When I went to rewatch it for family movie night, like the narration is so heavy-handed. So just be prepared. Okay, so Reese says, did you see Godzilla vs. Kong yet? I did. I did my review over on my blog, but then we're also going to talk about it on this week's Hidden Gems. So you should check that out. We're doing HBO Max on Friday, so we will talk Godzilla vs. Kong. So here we go. Loki looks fun for sure. Owen Wilson, Tom Hiddleston together are going to be comic gold. I thought they looked like they were going to have such great chemistry, and I was just so intrigued. I was not expecting them to go this whole sort of like quasi sci-fi kind of experience with this time. It almost reminded me of like Brazil or something, sort of Terry Gilliam. I'm very, very excited about it. Here we go. Last thing, as I've said before, no matter differing opinions on films, our conversations never feel like arguments, which I always appreciate. Great work. Thank you so much, especially because you're in the group chat that I'm in. And things get somewhat heated there. So I appreciate that. So 3K subscribers. Woo woo. So if people have other movies coming out, I don't know why my mind just like went blank. I mean, I'm not as excited about Dune as most people because I did not like that book at all. I thought it was such a snooze. So, yeah. But hopefully it'll be good. We'll see. All right. So I thought it would be fun for this experience to talk about some of my favorites. And I found this like your favorites questions thing, and maybe talk about things other than favorite movies, but you can ask in the chat my favorite movies if you want. But here we go. So there's my favorite. What is your favorite food and drink? I think if I had the whole Last Supper question, I think that I would have spaghetti and homemade meatballs is probably my favorite meal. It's so delicious. Lots of Parmesan cheese on top. Favorite drink? I don't know if I have a favorite drink. I mean, maybe mint juleps at Disneyland are my favorite. Non-alcoholic, of course, at Disneyland. Let's see. I'm a Bond guy, so looking forward to seeing that. Yeah, I've really liked, for the most part, the Daniel Craig Bonds. Even the more disappointing ones are still pretty good. I have a pretty big blind spot when it comes to Bond. I have only seen like a couple of the others. I've seen GoldenEye, of course, with Pierce Brosnan, and some of the Brosnan ones. I haven't seen that many James Bond movies, so it's something I need to work on. And maybe you could recommend recommend some that you think are the best of the different ones, and I'll check them out. So yeah, mint julep. So television and movies. I'll just say television. Obviously, The Nanny is one of my all-time favorite shows. I also love Survivor. I'm a big Survivor fan. That's how one of the ways I got started in podcasting was listening to Rob Has a Podcast over Rob has a website, and he does such great analysis of the show, and it's just such an interesting show. The different strategy and how it's every season it's different, how they win and the relationships, and I really love the show, and they made me really mad in season 38. But we're working to rebuild that relationship. Season 40 was awesome. It was so good. So let's see here. I'm personally excited for Kingsman, assuming it actually coming out this year and isn't delayed for the 8th time. That's just absurd. How could something be delayed 8 times? But I have to tell you, I actually got to interview oh gosh, now I'm going to say that now. I can't think of his name. I got to interview the composer for the Kingsman, and so that was really interesting to talk with him. Dominic Lewis, that was his name. Sorry, it hasn't posted yet. I'm still working on it, but yeah, I got to interview the composer, so that was pretty cool. Of the Kingsman. I actually haven't seen any of the Kingsman movies. I haven't seen any of the John Wick movies. I haven't seen any of the Kingsman movies. So that's another, I guess, blind spot. Okay, who is your favorite singer? Oh, since you have a wonderful voice. Oh, you're so nice. I think my favorite singer of all time, living or dead, is Judy Garland. And so that's why I was really annoyed with Judy. And they're not using her singing. What is going on? That was terrible. I hated it. But Judy Garland is probably my favorite singer of all time. I also love Idina Menzel, is incredible. She's a goddess. And I also love, who else do I love? Sarah Bareilles is one of my favorites. She's probably stronger as a songwriter than as a pure singer. I love Josh Groban. I've seen him 4 times live. I love Michael Bublé. I actually got tickets to see him in October, so I'm really excited about that. I've seen Michael Bublé 3 times, and he's incredible. Let's see here. Now, I'm not being biased because Connery's Scottish, but watch all the Connery ones. I saw a bad Connery one, though. Was it Diamonds Are Forever, I think, which I did not care for. It's the one, I think I think that's the one I saw. Okay. It's so cool to see The Nanny get more recognition. The show always feels like an underrated gem. I already own the complete series set, but it's great that HBO Max is making it more accessible. Yay! I know it's on HBO Max. I'm so excited. I think that The Nanny is one of the best examples of a romantic comedy within a series. I can't think of really a better kind of build up between Maxwell and Fran that you have on any other series compared to that show. I just absolutely love that, their dynamic, their relationship, how it grows. And it's just a really, really funny show, and her fashion is so great. And so I have a whole video here on this channel of all the reasons why you should watch The Nanny. So you should check that out if you'd like that. Okay, let's answer some more questions. Okay, I already answered about music, and then travel and recreation. And I haven't traveled for a while because part of the problem I have is that covering Hallmarkies podcast, it's so constant, and especially during the holidays, which for Hallmark, October through the end of the year is covering the holidays for Hallmark. And so I can't go anywhere for Thanksgiving. I can't go anywhere for Christmas. I just have to be pretty much focused on the podcast over there. And I was thinking about going to London. I actually got my passport in March of last year. Well, I submitted it, and then I didn't end up getting it until August because my sisters two of my sisters live in England. And my one sister was engaged. Now she's married. She got married in August. in a simple ceremony. She hasn't had a wedding yet, though. So I was thinking of going. I was going to go out to London to either for the wedding or to visit, but then everything happened. But I have been able to travel a little bit in my life. I have been to Spain. That was in 2016, I think, and that my sister was living there at the time. I love the beach. I love Hawaii. I've been to Hawaii 4 times and I absolutely love it there. I've been to Japan, and that was a really great experience. That was way back in 2005. And then when I was in high school, I went to Europe twice. I went on a multiple country visit, and then when I was 17, went to Italy and Greece, and I would love to go back because that was beautiful and delicious. Let's see here. Yeah, and I'm trying to think what other memorable trips. I actually took a trip to Atlanta. This was for work. But then I stayed over the longer weekend, and I had a great time there. It was a really fun city. And I went to the Coca-Cola land. I went to the botanical gardens. I went on a food tour, walking food tour, and I had the best fried chicken I've ever eaten. So that was really fun. Let's see. Sorry to drop this around me, but I finally watched Atlantis: The Lost Empire. It's so underrated. Yeah, it's interesting with that movie because I find that when I first watched it, I was like, wow, it's so underrated. Because I think it is. But then, like, as I continued to watch it, I was like, okay, I see where people were coming from it. But it's an adventure. It's a really fun adventure, and it's beautifully animated. It wouldn't like make my top 50 or anything like that, but it's definitely worth watching. And if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. So let's see some more. Okay, so then we have nature and animals. So this is very interesting because you all might not know, but I actually have a bit of a animal phobia. I am not very comfortable around animals, and it takes me a long time to build up sort of a relationship with an animal. My younger brother has a dog named Thunder, which is this like little tiny dog, and it is so nice. In fact, it's like bred to be a therapy dog and stuff, and he's just the most calming, wonderful dog. And so I've gotten a relationship with that, but my brother and sister, my older brother and younger sister, were both highly allergic to animals. And so I think it just created this sort of overall anxiety with animals that I've never 100% been able to get over. But, I'm an adult, so I can deal with it. And, I learned to be calm and to love animals. I certainly want animals. I want animals to be treated well, but I love probably water animals the most, just because I love being in the ocean so much. It's my favorite. But I'm not a big, especially wild animals. I went to Japan. There's this place where they have all of these deer all around. Like, I mean, you hold up, they sell these biscuits, and you have probably 10 biscuits, and you hold one up, and the deer just surround you, and I'm just like freaking out, like giving the biscuits away. Like, let's see here. Jane Price says, I've watched I Can Only Imagine recently and loved it. Are there any other Christian movies you recommend? Yeah, Durbin and I did a discussion on All Saints, and that is a very high quality Christian film. It actually has like a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. So it's well reviewed, which is unusual for these kinds of films. And I highly recommend that. I think it's very nuanced and moving and well done. Also, I recommend The Chosen. I just started the new season 2. I was a little... Season 2, they start out with the apostles talking, and it's a little too modern even for me, where they're talking. One of them says that they like freaked out. Like, come on, I'm not gonna say that, but Still, season 1, I don't know how season 2 will turn out. It started a little rocky to me, but season 1 I thought was very well done, very respectful, but also it fleshed out the characters, made you feel like you really got to know them as people, as humans. So I recommend The Chosen, and you can watch that on their app, or I think on YouTube. And they ask for a donation if you like it. So, but it's optional. So, just off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of other good ones. I recommend, Prince of Egypt, if that counts. I love that. What other good faith-based films? I liked Breakthrough. I thought that was actually pretty solid. I think what made that one good was because they allowed the lead character to have flaws and not be perfect, and she learns and grows, and that's what you want in a film. So just off the top of my head, those are pretty good. Okay, let's see. All right, so we have sports. So my sport is definitely open water swimming. You can see I have a playlist of some of my swims. Here's one of my medals that I happen to have out. So I've done 13 marathon swims, and I really am excited to get back into it. I haven't decided whether to do Great Salt Lake, because Great Salt Lake is brutal. It's really hard. I mean, the water just sucks all of the energy out of you, and it's hard. But I'm thinking about it. Oh, Germans. I like Risen. Yeah, that's another good one. Another good one. I tend to like the faith-based films when they are focusing on one journey and their faith journey, rather than the ministry of what we want people to learn. Something like War Room, where War Room is about trying to teach people how to pray in this new way, which has value, but that's not really like a movie. And so I think that Risen is a good example. That's a good one. I liked, what was it? In My Dreams, or whatever it was. The one about the musician. I can't think of the name. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't as good as I can only imagine, but it was decent. So, hey Joe, it's so good to see you. It's so exciting, and that's another great friend. Joe and I used to do our holiday movie recommendations every year for like 4 years. It was really fun to do that. So then, and also he was so supportive of some of my very first podcasts that I ever did were on the Star Wars movies with Abby and Jeremy, and I'm still really close with them, and I really enjoyed talking about Star Wars with them. Okay, so yeah, open water swimming is my favorite sport. There's nothing I like more than being in the open water and swimming, and I love it. I miss it so much. I can't wait to start again. My childhood, my favorite things about my childhood, I don't know. I was really energetic. I was really extroverted. I wasn't a big fan of naps. My poor mom. Yeah, I loved doing dance and theater in my childhood. I loved any time that I had the center of attention. I'm sure that's a huge shocker to all of you. Okay. So fashion and beauty. I mean, here it is so dry here in Utah that I am just having to lotion up all of the time. And sometimes I get lazy and forget to wear makeup, but I've been enjoying this compact palette. Anyway, because you want to wear the darker colors on YouTube, because otherwise it just washes it out. So I've really liked this, and it wasn't that expensive. Aesthetica, I got it on Amazon. But I love Burt's Bees as far as lotions and other things. They have really good products. Joe, I have so many fun memories of the Star Wars podcast, and I'd really like to collaborate with you again in some fashion if you're up for it. Totally up for it. Let's do it. It'd be so fun. And yeah, I'm really proud of those Star Wars podcasts. Like, technically, they were just Google Hangouts, so they're not like edited or the fancy or production quality that I maybe have now. But we had really good discussions, and we overall were positive, even for movies that we didn't like, which I'm really proud of, and it's not necessarily easy to do. Okay, so let's see here. So they're asking my favorite 80s movie, and that is extremely difficult. There's so many good ones. What's my favorite 80s movie? Probably my favorite 80s movie is probably Back to the Future. I think it's about a perfect film. And it actually has something to say about how we don't really see our parents as people when we're growing up. And then you have that moment where you're like, oh, they were just figuring it out every day, just like I am. And he kind of has that when he has that realization of like, oh my gosh, my parents were just like me. And so I appreciate that. And it's just so good. I absolutely love it. I mean, actually, from the 80s, what am I saying? From the 80s, that my favorite is The Little Mermaid is my favorite from the 80s. I forget sometimes because it's so lumped in with the 90s, with the Renaissance. I forget sometimes that it's from the 80s, but I absolutely love, of course, The Little Mermaid and the songs. It was the first movie that I ever really fell in love with as a child. So, I mean, but there's so many great ones in the 80s. And When Harry Met Sally, Princess Bride, Amadeus, the Christmas Story, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Empire Strikes Back. The list goes on and on. Did you like Paul Blart Mall Cop? You know what? The first one I didn't mind. It had some chuckles. It was certainly leagues better than most of the Adam Sandler movies from that era. So it's not like great, but it was okay. The second one was really bad. Okay. What is my favorite Harry Potter movie? This is maybe controversial, but my favorite Harry Potter movie is The Order of the Phoenix. I just really like it. Because one of the problems with the Harry Potter movies is that for most of them, you don't actually have a villain. You talk about Voldemort, but you don't actually see him. And so what I like about Order of the Phoenix is that you have Umbridge. She's there. She's a presence. She is incredibly manipulative and scary because she is so sort of passive aggressive in the way that she's manipulative and scary. And I think she's great. And then I also think Dumbledore's Army is really fun, and you get to actually see Harry be a leader. And it's interesting because it's probably one of my least favorite books because he's so grumpy in that book, but it's my favorite. I mean, my least favorite is Crimes of Grindelwald, which I thought was total garbage, and I hated it. It's Crimes of Grindelwald, in my opinion, is one of the worst blockbusters I've ever seen. It was terrible. So what is my favorite Hobbit from Lord of the Rings? So I think that everyone's favorite Hobbit from Lord of the Rings should be Samwise. I mean, come on. He carries Frodo up the hill. I mean, he's the best. He's so sweet. I love Samwise. My favorite Simpsons character, I feel like most people's favorite Simpsons character is Lisa. I mean, she's the best. My favorite cartoon cat. I think this is probably asking, are you a Tom and Jerry or are you a Sylvester and Tweety Bird fan? I like both. I'm like the only person in the world who liked the Tom and Jerry movie. I thought it was really fun. So I would say my favorite cartoon cat is probably Sylvester. And I think I'm more of a Sylvester and Tweety Bird, but I still enjoy Tom and Jerry too. Let's see here. I remember once saying I looked up to Adam Sandler when I was younger, and do I regret that now? Yeah. I mean, from what I've heard, he is an incredibly nice person. So look up to him for that. There we go. Order of the Phoenix is also my favorite Harry Potter movie. Yes. All right, Reese. Way to go. Yes. I love Azkaban as best movie. Order of the Phoenix is my favorite book. Yeah, there you go. I think that Azkaban is the best made of the whole franchise. It's the most artistic, most interesting, and it's definitely probably my second favorite. And then my third favorite is the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Let's see here. Any Oscar predictions? And yeah, I think that it's pretty clear that Daniel Kaluuya is going to win. That would be a huge upset if he doesn't win. I actually am pulling for Minari. I think that it's tough. Do you think is it going to be Nomadland or Minari? I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna just be optimistic and say, I mean, I like Nomadland quite a bit. So I think it's actually a really good group of nominees. Mank is the only one that I went rotten on. It's not like terrible. It's fine. It just wasn't my favorite. But they're all pretty good. But it's either Minari or Nomadland. And so it's tough. It's tough. Other Oscar predictions. I think that the toughest one to call is Best Actress. I think that it'll be Carey Mulligan. I really do, but it could be Frances McDormand. I don't know. But I would bet on Carey Mulligan. I think that Yoon is her name, from Minari. I think she will win Best Supporting Actress, and she's incredible, so she deserves it. What are the other ones? Oh, and I think that Chadwick Boseman will probably win for Best Supporting. It would not be my choice, but he's good in it. I don't know. It wouldn't be my choice. But yeah, I'm off the top of my head, I think that's where I would go. So what about you? What are your Oscar predictions for the big categories, at least? I hope that Emma will win costumes. I think it deserves to win costumes and hair and makeup. So fingers crossed. Okay, here we go. Back to the Future is an incredibly solid movie. It keeps its time travel rules consistent, and it's one of those few movies that I don't know anyone who doesn't like it. Correct. That's right. It is, I think, the most likable movie ever made. It's so good. All right. Garfield's the best animated cat. Maybe that's what they were talking about. I didn't even think of that. Okay. Nice to hear I'm not alone on Order in the Phoenix, which is in my top 3 best of the series besides Prisoner of Azkaban and Deathly Hallows Part 2. We have the same top 3. Woohoo! Here we go. Did you watch the Irish animated film Wolfwalkers? Did I watch the Irish film Wolfwalkers? It's my favorite film for 2020. Absolutely adored it. I have a review for it on this channel if you want to check that out, but I also did a review of Backseat Directors when it first came out, and I just absolutely loved it. I got to be at a press junket with all of the creatives, and that's over at Rotoscope, so you should check that out. I loved that movie. I thought it was I love the animation, I love the music, I love the story. It was so good. Let's see. Ready to hate me. Reese, you need to see Back to the Future. Come on. It's only 3 movies. It's not even that hard of a series. The second and the third one are not as good. They're fun. They're fine. But they're not as good as the first one. The first one is so good. So, all right. Well, let's do, I don't even know how long this has been going. Very long. But Okay, some more questions here. Let's do some other categories. Let's see. Favorite fast food restaurant. We did a whole podcast on this, Ryan and I, over at Micah's channel. You should check it out. But I think actually I'm going to go with Wendy's as my favorite. I love their salads. I think they're so good. And I think their burgers are actually really good too. And they have decent fries. And the Frosties are delicious. You can't go wrong at Wendy's. It's a really good place. Okay. Favorite ice cream flavor. So I really like probably cookies and cream is probably my favorite. I also like burnt almond fudge. That's really good. Cookie dough, very good. That's just means I just like a chocolate, a plain chocolate is very delicious. Let's see here. Do you have one of those movies you haven't gotten around to seeing yet, and when others find out that you've never seen that? Yes, I have a lot actually, because I didn't watch R-rated movies for a long time. So there's a lot of R-rated movies that I haven't seen that are, really iconic. I haven't seen that many of the iconic Tarantino films. I did see Pulp Fiction and did not care for it. But I haven't seen some of his other films like Reservoir Dogs or something like that. I haven't seen some of the Scorsese films like Raging Bull. I've never seen. I do have over on my blog, I have a blind spot series where that's kind of the goal of the series is once a month I watch a movie that is praised or has a cult following or whatever that I haven't seen. And I give my review, and I really enjoy doing that. It's a lot of fun. This last month, I reviewed Highlander, and I don't know if Man v Film is on because that's I don't know if he's seen that, but it was really good. I really actually very much enjoyed it. So yeah, that's something I'm trying to get rid of those blind spots. Congrats on 3,000 subscribers. Is there any movies that you, Durbin, and Joe would recommend that have Harrison Ford? Joe reviewed The Fugitive. Ford and Jones' scenes are balanced. Love The Fugitive. Yeah, I mean, there's the obvious ones, of course. Your Indiana Jones, your Star Wars, Blade Runner. Even though I think it's boring, it's well made, and you should watch it. And yeah, let's see what else from Harrison Ford. Witness from the 80s. That one's very good drama. I actually love his version of Sabrina. I think that's underrated. I really like it. It's one of the stronger remakes that I can think of. We'd actually been thinking about doing a best and worst of Harrison Ford. So I'm trying to think other ones. All of his Tom Clancy movies, those are all good. Clear Present Danger, and what's the other one? I can't think of the name. And then there's Air Force One, and that's a lot of fun. If you haven't seen that, you'd enjoy it. But Fugitive is great. Mint Chocolate Chip. Yeah, Mint Chocolate Chip is pretty good. I like that. Let's see here. Mine is probably How to Train Your Dragon movies. I'll get to watching them one day, I swear. Or Godfather. That's a big one. Yeah, The Godfather. That's one you have to check off your list. Don't feel bad if you don't love it. I don't love it. It's well made and it's well done. It's a good movie. Just not my favorite because I don't love mob movies. So what are you gonna do? I think I prefer. It's tough. Which one I prefer, Goodfellas or Godfather? I don't know. Goodfellas is a little funnier. Let's see here. Do I have a favorite dish at the Olive Garden? It's saying. So I love the portobello raviolis at Olive Garden. That's one of my favorites. But I also just love the minestrone. It is so yummy. What is my favorite Pixar movie? I think most people know my favorite Pixar movie is Up. I absolutely love it. I think it's just such a wonderful movie about forgiveness. And when he reads that message from Ellie in the book, and who realizes that she really did love him all along. I think it's so good. My favorite Marvel movie is the original Avengers. I just love it. I love team up movies. I just think they're so fun. And I love Loki. And so him being the villain in it is a big plus. And yeah, it's my favorite. Patriot Games. That's right. I could see the picture, but I couldn't think of the name. Very good. Okay, I really like Regarding Henry, Air Force One, Witness, especially the latter since it takes place near my hometown. There you go. Yeah, those are all good. Definitely worth watching. So yeah, Harrison Ford, he's a good actor, no doubt about it. Okay, I'm going to do a couple more and then we can call it a day. A favorite canceled TV series. And I mean, technically, I guess every TV show is canceled, but canceled prematurely, I think. I mean, I think that Wander Over Yonder was canceled prematurely. It was such a creative show and such great animation, and I just wish that Disney had stuck it out with that one. Also, there was a show on VH1, a scripted show called Hindsight that I loved, about a girl who is it goes back in time to the 90s to her wedding, which she feels like was just such a big mistake. And she has a chance to sort of relive her life. And they were going to do a season 2 because it ended on a cliffhanger. And then all of a sudden because it was on VH1, they stopped doing scripted content. And though it was canceled but it had nothing to do with the show or the quality of the show. But because of the network, which is such a bummer. But it was a really good show. I also really loved A to Z, which was a show on NBC with Kristen Milotti from Palm Springs and Ben Feldman from Drop Dead Diva, which is another show that I love. And it was so good. It was every day was a different letter of the alphabet that was a part of their love. And it was narrated by Katie Seagal. And I thought it was so good. I was so bummed when it was canceled. But I also recently, having Kim's Convenience get canceled, broke my heart because I love that show so much. If you haven't watched Kim's Convenience on Netflix, the first 4 seasons are on there. It is so good. It's one of those things I just can't imagine anyone disliking it. It is so heartwarming. It is so funny. You've got to watch it. Let's see here. I love your blind spot list. It's such a cool idea to check movies off. I'm tempted to try it myself. Also, I'm a huge Frankenstein fan, so I was excited to see that slotted for October. Oh, there you go. You should do it. It's so much fun. Even if you don't do it every month, do it every other month. Just go for it and let me know, and I will read them or watch them, however you do. Avengers is my favorite Marvel movie too. It's what sold me on the MCU. This is actually true for me because I had gotten totally burnt out on superhero movies. I hated Green Lantern. There were a bunch of movies right in a row that I did not like. And so I was like, I'm done with that whole genre. And this was well before I had a channel, well before I did any of this. And so my friends kept saying, you've got to watch the Avengers. And I was like, I haven't watched any of the previous films except for Iron Man. That was the only one. And so I'm not going to like it. What am I going to? And they were like, you got to watch it. And so finally I watched it. And this is why I had not seen the Avengers in the theater until I saw the drive-in last year, which is really kind of crazy. But I watched it and I just was so charmed by it. I thought it was so fun. And so it also, like you, Kate, it also won me back to the genre and to Marvel. So it was very fun. Firefly, the best canceled show. Yeah. I actually haven't seen it, but I've heard nothing but that from many people. If y'all want to hear a really good podcast, look up Canceled Too Soon. It's William Bibiani, Whitney Seibold. That's what they do, is they review TV shows that only lasted one season or sometimes pilots. It's really fun. It's a really good show. Podcast. Okay, a few more. What's my favorite classic movie? I mean, this is challenging. Probably It's a Wonderful Life is probably my favorite because I'm a huge Christmas person and I just love the whole message of the show, even though it's about somebody about to commit suicide. The value of every person in our life. And I also love Christmas in Connecticut. It's so funny, and it's sort of the pioneer of all of these Hallmark Christmas movies that I love so much. So, does anyone have any other favorites they want to ask me about? Maybe about Hallmark or rom-coms before I finish? Oh, this is so long. So they ask, there's some music questions. What is my favorite Beatles song? My favorite Beatles song is Let It Be. I love that. Was really good. My favorite, let's see, what else? Favorite boy band? I think I'd have to go with, I guess if the Beatles count, they're my favorite. But my favorite boy band, probably, I guess NSYNC is probably my favorite. I don't really have a favorite. Favorite 80s song? Well, Part of Your World, if that counts as an 80s song. But Total Eclipse of the Heart, I think you got to go with that. It's so epic. My favorite one-hit wonder. I like that Mambo Number 5. I think that's such a fun song. Mambo Number 5. Little Erica in my life. Let's see. I never thought Christmas in Connecticut being the origin of most Hallmark Christmas movies, but now that you say it, you're absolutely right. That's right. So Christmas in Connecticut, Holiday Affair, and Miracle on 34th Street. Almost all Hallmark Christmas movies can be thrown back to that. They're so good. Okay. What is your favorite type of music? Rock, country, metal, R&B? My favorite type is show tunes is my favorite. But out of the four you mentioned, my favorite, out of the four that you mentioned, my favorite of those four would be country. I do love country music. Let's see here. Do you realize how lucky you are to be friends with Tom Moore? I think friends is probably overstating it. I was able to interview him, which was incredible. And we follow each other on Twitter. But I don't know if I would say we're friends, but incredibly fortunate to get to interview him. So, he's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, working director. So, my favorite Pixar movie is Bug's Life. Both actors from the film, the Ref, Dennis Leary as Francis and Kevin Spacey as Hopper, are in the film. Oh, both actors from the film The Ref. Okay, got it. In the film, but they are equally humorous as Dave Foley as Flick. Yeah, I like Bug's Life. I reviewed it here on this channel. I said, and it was made my top 10 of that year when we did Best of 99, I think it was. Me and Conrado. And Conrado and I are really close friends, and we've been able to collab a lot and do Criterion Project, which is another podcast I do, which I love. Yeah, I have no problem with that. Bug's Life is really fun. If you like Bug's Life, you should definitely watch The Magnificent Seven, preferably the one from the 1960s. My favorite actor and actress. So my favorite actress, if we're taking all time, would probably be Audrey Hepburn. And favorite actor would probably be Jimmy Stewart. But presently working, who would be my favorite? There's a lot that I love that I've gotten to actually kind of maybe become friends with. Like Christopher Poloha, I love him. And I've been able to interview him 3 times, so that's pretty amazing. But as far as big name people, I think that I don't know if there's anybody that's like if they're in a movie, I'm there. I'm going to see it. I know I'll love it. There's nobody really like that, but I generally like Michael Fassbender. I think he's usually really good. Maybe I would say Reese Witherspoon, maybe, or Sandra Bullock, maybe. I'd say maybe my favorite. I don't know. I can't. Let's see. Who else? What else? One more. Let's do one more of this, and if you have any further, send in your final questions. Let's see here. My favorite vacation I've ever taken. My favorite vacation that I've ever taken, I think, would probably have to be Hawaii, like 2008, 2007. Because I was in just 2007. I was in a really not great place in my life, and the whole trip just meant so much to me. And so that's probably my favorite. But going to Italy and Greece when I was 17 was very formative. So maybe that one as well. Let's see here. Favorite Tom Hanks movie. That's tough. I mean, Tom Hanks is one of my favorites, I guess, as you say. His movies are always good. There's not that many. I mean, The Circle. Ooh. But I can't remember what I said in best and worst. What did I say? I mean, if I include animated, then Toy Story is my favorite. For sure. But You've Got Mail is my favorite. I love Nora Ephron's script. I think it's incredible. It's so quotable. It's so funny. It's probably the movie I've seen the most in my life. And I love it. All right. I think that will be it for this live stream. And I had a great time. And thank you so much for getting me to 3K. I think that it's just the beginning, hopefully. It's been a great ride, and I've just really enjoyed all the friends and all the things I've been able to do and things I've learned. I've learned so many skills from doing this, everything from editing to Photoshop to, I watched some of my early videos, and they're pretty rough, but I still have an affection for them. But I've learned so much, and I'm just grateful for having this opportunity to communicate with the whole world. It's just such a great experience. And so thank you so much for all of your support and all your incredible questions. I had a great time doing this, and I hope you all have a really nice day and continue to support the channel and continue to interact. And I look forward to doing that in the future. So I'll talk to you all later. Bye, everyone.